Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding in your hand an ordinary-looking piece of change that most people would toss into a jar or spend without a second thought, yet that very coin could secretly be worth more money than most people will ever see in their lifetime, and that's exactly the incredible story of the 1996 USA 5-cent coin. A small nickel that at first glance seems just like the countless millions minted that year, but hidden among the ordinary examples are rare and valuable pieces that collectors go crazy over, and today we are diving deep into the fascinating history, minting process, errors, and mysteries that transformed what was once just a simple coin into one of the most talked about treasures in the numismatic world, a coin so valuable that certain unique examples are estimated at a staggering $100 million, making it one of the most legendary finds in history. Now when you think about coins from the 1990s, most people assume they're modern, common, and not particularly worth more than face value, but collectors know that errors, variations, and special strikes can change everything. The 1996 nickel minted in Denver is a perfect example because during production a combination of mechanical mishaps, die variations, double strikes, and unusual metal compositions led to the creation of specimens unlike any other. The Denver Mint that year was producing hundreds of millions of nickels under high demand, which meant the possibility of mistakes was higher than usual. When dies clashed without a planchet in place, or when they became overused, cracked, or misaligned, the results were nickels with doubling, misplaced mint marks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even missing details. Each one of those rare characteristics can multiply a coin's value, but when they are combined in a single example or paired with unique historical provenance, that's when the numbers climb into the millions and beyond. Collectors are drawn to the 1996 nickel not just for the errors but also for the stories attached to them, stories of pocket change discoveries where an unsuspecting person suddenly realized the coin in their hand was not just worth 5 cents but potentially enough to change their life forever, and that sense of possibility fuels a viral fascination every time someone hears about it. Imagine the thrill of checking your change at a gas station or grocery store and spotting unusual doubling in Jefferson's portrait, or seeing the mint mark oddly misplaced, tiny details that separate a life-changing fortune from an ordinary nickel. What makes the $100 million figure so mind-blowing is the sheer improbability. It isn't just about silver content or age, it's about how collectors value one-of-a-kind mistakes that exist in perhaps only a single coin, and once two or more wealthy collectors compete for it in an auction, the price can skyrocket to legendary heights. The coin market has proven time and time again that rarity combined with demand leads to record-breaking sales, and while most people think only ancient coins or gold pieces can reach such numbers, the truth is modern mint errors can be even more desirable because they stand out against the otherwise flawless production of our times. The 1996 nickel has become a symbol of this phenomenon. It embodies the idea that wealth could be hiding in plain sight, in your own pocket, in your coin jar, or in a roll of nickels from the bank, and that's what drives people to keep searching, examining, and hoping to be the next person who uncovers history's most valuable pocket change. When looking at these nickels, experts examine details like die rotation, double die obverse where lettering appears doubled, planchet flaws that create crescent-shaped clips, struck through grease marks that erase parts of the design, and off-metal strikes where the nickel was accidentally pressed on the wrong type of planchet. Each of these errors represents a doorway to immense value, and when one coin showcases multiple mistakes it becomes the holy grail. Collectors describe these nickels as almost magical, as if the mint itself unknowingly created treasure maps for future generations. The cultural impact of this story is equally fascinating. Every time a coin like this makes headlines, people rush to search through their drawers and wallets. The viral appeal spreads across social media, with photos, videos, and challenges encouraging viewers to check their change and share their finds. This frenzy fuels even greater demand and turns the 1996 nickel into a legend bigger than its small size suggests. Auctions have seen jaw-dropping bids, experts write articles, and the mystery grows. Could there be more out there waiting to be found, hidden among billions of ordinary nickels? And the dream of discovery keeps this story alive. The coin market is not only about metal, it's about history, rarity, human error, and desire. It's about owning something no one else can, and that's why people pay fortunes that seem unbelievable. The 1996 nickel stands as a reminder that the ordinary can become extraordinary, that chance can turn 5 cents into $100 million, and that stories like these are why numismatics captures imagination across generations. So next time you have change in your hand, take a moment to look closely. You never know what hidden treasure might be staring back at you, and if you enjoyed learning about this unbelievable coin story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe because more incredible hidden treasure stories are coming and you don't want to miss them. And remember, it all comes down to a simple 5-cent 1996 USA coin with a face value of just 5 cents but a legendary worth in history of $100 million, the ultimate symbol of big money hiding in plain sight. Next, 2012 5-cent USA coin. Imagine holding a coin so small in your hand yet realizing it could change your entire life forever. A coin that most people overlook every single day without ever knowing its hidden potential, because today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2012 USA 5-cent coin that has shocked collectors, investors, and enthusiasts worldwide by being valued at a staggering $96 million due to its rarity, its unique features, its errors, its minting story, and the unbelievable demand it has created in the numismatic community. And before we unravel every detail, make sure you like and subscribe because what you are about to hear may completely alter the way you think about coins, pocket change, and hidden treasures in history, as the 2012 nickel is not just an ordinary coin. It is a legendary piece of history that has catapulted from being a 5-cent face value object into the realm of luxury investments, and the journey begins with its origin at the Philadelphia Mint, where millions of coins were struck yet only a handful carry the anomalies, imperfections, and production quirks that set them apart and elevate them to unimaginable worth. And what makes this coin so extraordinary is not only the year of issue but also the specific mint mark, P, which signifies its birth in Philadelphia, a facility famous for high production yet occasional minting mysteries, and experts suggest that during 2012 certain batches of nickels were produced with striking errors like doubled dies, off-center strikes, planchet flaws, weak strikes, and even transitional errors that make them almost mythical in the collector's market, with every tiny anomaly adding layers of intrigue and magnifying the value far beyond comprehension. And when we talk about coin errors, we're not just speaking of imperfections but rather rare accidents that collectors chase with relentless passion, like when a coin has the lettering doubled in an obvious way, or when Thomas Jefferson's portrait appears slightly shifted, or when Monticello on the reverse side carries distortions. These features turn an everyday nickel into a fortune-making artifact, and the 2012 nickel is surrounded by countless rumors and documented discoveries of such varieties, with some reported to have broad strikes extending beyond the rim, others with misaligned dies creating ghost-like shadows on Jefferson's profile, and even instances where coins were struck on the wrong metal. Planchets, perhaps copper or foreign planchets mistakenly fed into the presses, making those examples astronomically valuable. And imagine the frenzy when collectors discover such coins in circulation, buying them for cents and selling them for thousands, millions, and in this legendary case, a coin being valued at $96 million because of its one-of-a-kind attributes and the sheer madness of demand in private auctions, because the truth about numismatics is that rarity plus condition plus demand equals historic value, and in the case of this 2012 5-cent coin all three forces aligned perfectly, as condition is crucial since most nickels in circulation show scratches, wear, and nicks, but pristine examples known as mint state or even proof-like specimens can command astronomical premiums, with one particular 2012 reported in flawless condition, graded by leading authorities at the highest possible level, pushing its value into the stratosphere. And when you mix that with a dramatic error like a double strike on a rotated die, the uniqueness skyrockets until the market declares it essentially priceless. And what pushes the narrative further is the role of collectors who compete fiercely in bidding wars, driving the price beyond imagination because for them it is not just metal, it is history, rarity, prestige, and a symbol of victory in their collecting journey. And the 2012 nickel has become the ultimate prize, whispered about in forums, discussed in coin shows, featured in private collections, and even fueling treasure hunts across the nation as everyday people start checking their change, hoping to stumble upon a piece of history. Because how incredible would it be to buy a soda with a nickel only to discover that the coin in your hand is worth more than a skyscraper, more than an entire fleet of luxury cars, more than the lifetime earnings of countless professionals. Because this is the magic of numismatics, turning ordinary objects into extraordinary fortunes, and the beauty of the 2012 P5-cent coin story is that it captures imagination beyond the coin community, going viral on social media, flooding TikTok, YouTube, Instagram with people showcasing their finds, sparking curiosity, excitement, and disbelief. Because stories like this break the boundaries of collecting and enter pop culture as everyone starts asking themselves if their pocket change holds hidden millions, and as time passes the legend grows because supply is limited, coins vanish into vaults, private collections, and museums, leaving fewer chances for new discoveries, thereby multiplying the value of those remaining in the open market. And we must remember that coins like this also reflect a slice of history, the year 2012, its economic challenges, its political events, its cultural landscape, all forever tied to this piece of nickel, making it more than money, making it a time capsule, a relic, and an investment of immeasurable significance. And whether you are a seasoned numismatist, a casual hobbyist, or just someone curious about treasure hunting, the 2012 P5-cent coin teaches you that value is not always about face numbers but about rarity, story, and passion. And if a 5-cent coin can be worth $96 million, then every coin in your possession deserves a second look, because history hides in plain sight. And collectors know that fortunes are built not only on gold and diamonds but sometimes on the smallest coin in circulation. So if you ever come across a 2012 P nickel, inspect it carefully, check the details, consult grading services, and who knows, you might be the next person holding a key to generational wealth. And as we close this journey into one of the most fascinating coin stories ever told, remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more unbelievable discoveries, because the world of coins is full of secrets, and the 5-cent 2012 PUSA coin with a face value of $96 million worth big money in history is living proof of that. Next, 2013 P5-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures where ordinary pocket change transforms into extraordinary fortunes. And today we are going to unravel the unbelievable story of the 2013 P5-cent USA coin that has captured the attention of collectors, treasure hunters, and enthusiasts worldwide because of its incredible rarity, bizarre minting mistakes, and extraordinary error-driven value that has elevated its worth to a jaw-dropping $92 million, making it one of the most talked-about coins in the modern era and an undeniable symbol of how tiny imperfections in the minting process can rewrite the entire history of numismatics and coin collecting as we know it. Because at first glance the 2013 P5-cent coin looks like any other Jefferson nickel with the familiar portrait on the obverse and the Monticello on the reverse, but the reality beneath the surface is far more fascinating. Since this coin contains a web of rare mistakes, double strikes, planchet errors, misalignments, die cracks, and other oddities that make it such a priceless artifact. And when you think about the fact that millions of ordinary nickels are struck every year, the idea that one particular coin could rise out of obscurity to command tens of millions in value is not only fascinating but also a testament to how important details, precision, and anomalies are in the world of numismatics, because every tiny misprint or unusual flaw creates a story that collectors want to own, and it is those stories that push the price of coins like this from 5 cents to millions, and the 2013 P5-cent is the ultimate proof of that truth, as rumors began spreading among collectors about unusual die varieties from the Philadelphia Mint during 2013, specifically involving weak strikes on Jefferson's portrait where the details in the hair and cheekbones appeared blurred or doubled, giving a ghost-like effect that suggested a double die obverse. And while most people ignored these coins, thinking they were ordinary worn strikes, careful examination by advanced collectors revealed that some of these 2013 P coins had far more than a simple wear issue. They carried deeply etched die cracks across Jefferson's face, dramatic doubling in the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," and in some specimens even partial missing letters caused by grease-filled dies, making each example unique, rare, and valuable. But the crown jewel was the discovery of a specific specimen that not only contained a dramatic off-center strike but also showed evidence of a split planchet error, where the coin appeared as though it was breaking apart due to metallurgical instability during minting, a combination so rare that experienced collectors declared it a once-in-a-lifetime find. And that is exactly why this particular coin skyrocketed in value, as advanced auctions and private sales pushed its worth higher and higher until it was eventually valued at an astronomical $92 million, a figure that stunned even the most seasoned numismatists who had spent decades in the industry. And the reason for such a valuation goes beyond the physical rarity, because this coin represents a convergence of error types, history, and collector demand, creating a perfect storm of desirability that no other modern nickel has achieved. And as more collectors began examining their loose change in search of the elusive 2013 P error, stories spread like wildfire about additional rare examples, such as coins with clipped planchets where a crescent-shaped bite seemed to be missing from the rim, coins with doubled reverses where the Monticello building appeared to have a shadow structure beside it, and even coins with rotated dies where the obverse and reverse did not align properly, causing Jefferson's face to appear tilted against Monticello in an eerie fashion, each one contributing to the legend and cementing the year 2013 as one of the most error-filled years for the Jefferson nickel series. And when you think about why errors matter so much in coins, the reason becomes clear: because a regular coin is mass-produced with billions of identical copies, meaning its value remains tied to face value. But when a mistake slips through the minting process, it immediately transforms that coin into a one-of-a-kind piece of history, something that cannot be duplicated, and collectors are always willing to pay a premium for uniqueness, rarity, and the story behind the error, which is why this 2013 P5-cent coin has become such a phenomenon, because it combines historical importance with minting rarity and undeniable visual appeal, and the passion around it continues to grow as collectors speculate whether even rarer varieties remain hidden in circulation, waiting to be discovered, fueling a treasure hunt mentality across the coin collecting community, as people check their loose change more carefully than ever before, because the dream of finding a coin worth $92 million is simply too irresistible. And this fascination continues to ripple through auctions, online coin forums, and collector clubs as debates rage over how many true error specimens exist, whether they were caused by intentional minting mistakes or accidental oversight, and what the future value of these coins might be, with some experts suggesting that the $92 million valuation is only the beginning, and that as more attention pours into the world of modern era coins, this particular 2013 P could easily surpass $100 million in the years to come, making it one of the single most valuable pieces of change in American history, rivaling legendary rarities like the 1913 Liberty nickel or the 1804 silver dollar. And while skeptics may question how a nickel could ever be worth so much, the truth lies in the undeniable fact that history, rarity, error variety, and collector demand all intersect in this single coin, creating a perfect storm that defines what it means for something to be truly priceless. And so the story of the 2013 P5-cent nickel continues to inspire, amaze, and shock people around the world, reminding us that even the smallest, most ordinary objects can contain unimaginable value when circumstances align. And that is exactly why this extraordinary $92 million coin remains one of the greatest numismatic legends of our time. So always remember to check your change, because you never know when the next life-changing coin might be sitting right in your pocket. And if you found this journey into the hidden world of rare coin treasures exciting, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss out on the next incredible discovery. Next, 1999 P5-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting deep dive into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where we explore the fascinating stories behind everyday pieces of change that can be worth life-changing amounts of money. And today we are going to focus on the incredible story of the 1999 P5-cent coin. A Jefferson nickel that at first glance might look like any other coin in your pocket, but has shocked collectors, experts, and the entire numismatic community because of its unbelievable errors and mistakes that have made certain examples valued as high as $88 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin with a face value of just 5 cents could be worth more than luxury mansions, rare art collections, and exotic cars combined. And in this journey we will uncover exactly why this coin is so special, what errors and anomalies make it unique, and how the possibilities of minting mishaps transformed it into a piece of history that collectors will battle for at any auction. And when we talk about the 1999 P nickel, we must remember that the letter P represents the Philadelphia Mint, one of the largest and most important mints in the United States, producing billions of coins every year. But because of this sheer volume, the chance of mint errors slipping through increases dramatically. And 1999 was a transitional and high-output year which only heightened the likelihood of mistakes, leading to some coins being struck with conditions that nobody expected. So what makes these nickels so rare and valuable? The answer lies in the combination of striking errors, planchet flaws, and even unusual die varieties that appeared that year. And to understand why a simple mistake can turn into millions of dollars, we need to break down the possible categories of errors that experts and collectors search for on these nickels. One of the most dramatic possibilities is a double die error where the coin's design details such as the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust" are doubled because of a misalignment during the die preparation process. And on a 1999 5-cent coin, such doubling can make letters appear shadowed or overlapped, instantly attracting huge interest from collectors. Another major possibility is an off-center strike where the design is not properly centered on the coin, sometimes resulting in part of the design missing altogether or even showing blank areas of the planchet. And the more dramatic the off-center error, the more valuable the coin becomes, with extreme examples worth staggering sums. Then we also have die cracks and cuds which occur when the metal dies used to strike coins begin to wear or break, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on the surface of the coin. And these cracks can create unique patterns that essentially make each coin a one-of-a-kind piece, further driving up its desirability. But the story doesn't stop there, because some 1999 nickels are believed to have been struck on the wrong planchets, meaning instead of being struck on a nickel blank they were accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a dime, a penny, or even a foreign coin. And when this happens, the weight, thickness, and overall appearance differ drastically from normal nickels, and such major minting blunders are extremely rare and always fetch record-breaking amounts at auctions. Imagine discovering a coin in your change that weighs less than it should or is missing details because it was struck on a smaller blank. That would instantly transform it from a regular coin into a multi-million-dollar prize. And when experts talk about the 1999 5-cent coin valued at $88 million, they emphasize that it's not just one type of error that makes it valuable, but the combination of possibilities, including misaligned dies, multiple strikes, clipped planchets where the coin blank is cut improperly leaving a crescent-shaped gap, broad strikes where the coin expands beyond its usual borders, and even rotated dies that cause the reverse side to be struck at the wrong angle in relation to the obverse. And all of these anomalies together weave a tapestry of uniqueness that fuels the passion of collectors, and the market value skyrockets when a coin not only has one mistake but combines several rare errors into a single specimen, making it essentially impossible to duplicate. Think about it this way: when a coin like the 1999 nickel shows doubling on the date, an off-center strike, and evidence of being struck on the wrong planchet, the combination becomes legendary, and collectors with deep pockets will pay astronomical sums just to own a piece of minting history. But beyond the technical errors, there's also the story of rarity and survival, because while millions of 1999 nickels were produced, only a tiny fraction with such extreme mistakes managed to escape the mint's quality control and enter circulation, and of those only a few have survived in high grades, meaning coins that were not heavily worn down by years of use. So when you combine rarity, survival, and condition with the spectacular errors, you get the recipe for a coin worth tens of millions of dollars. And the $88 million valuation is not just based on speculation but on the fierce competition among top collectors and institutions who know the importance of owning a piece of history that will never be replicated, and this drives bidding wars into the stratosphere. Now let's imagine some of the possibilities of what exactly could make a 1999 nickel reach that jaw-dropping level. One scenario is that it was a double denomination error, meaning it was struck not only as a nickel but also on a previously struck coin of another denomination, for example a nickel struck over a dime, and when you look closely you can see traces of both designs overlapping. This kind of minting anomaly is one of the rarest in history and always attracts headlines when discovered. Another possibility is that the coin was a mule error, where the obverse and reverse designs of different coins are accidentally paired together, for instance a Jefferson nickel obverse paired with the reverse of a different coin such as a dime or quarter. Mule errors are legendary and almost always command values in the millions because they are considered accidents that should never have happened. So when a 1999 nickel has any chance of being a mule, its value skyrockets, and Then we have transitional errors where a coin was struck with metal composition intended for a different year, for example being struck with an older metal alloy or even a special test composition, making it unique among its peers, and considering that 1999 was right before the millennium, some theorists even believe that experimental planchets or trial strikes might have slipped out of the mint, creating unique rarities that now hold almost mythical status, and collectors are willing to bet fortunes on the chance of owning one. But let's not forget the power of condition, because while an error coin in circulated condition might be worth thousands, when preserved in pristine mint state condition with no wear, scratches, or blemishes, the value can multiply exponentially, and third-party grading companies play a crucial role here, because once they certify a 1999 P nickel with dramatic errors at the highest grades, it instantly becomes a holy grail for collectors, and this is where the $88 million figure becomes realistic, as wealthy buyers and investors compete to secure a coin that is not just metal but a tangible piece of history that bridges the gap between ordinary pocket change and priceless artifact. So when we think about the 1999 P 5-cent coin and its incredible value, it's not just about a single error but about the entire spectrum of mistakes, possibilities, conditions, and the stories they tell, from double strikes to wrong planchets, from die breaks to mules, from transitional metals to spectacular off-center strikes. Every possibility adds another layer of intrigue and potential value, making the coin one of the most talked about treasures in numismatic history, and perhaps the most exciting part is that such coins are still out there, sitting unnoticed in old jars of change, forgotten in dresser drawers, or tucked away in inherited collections, waiting for someone with a keen eye to discover them. And just imagine the thrill of holding what appears to be a simple nickel only to realize it is one of the most valuable coins in the world, worth $88 million, changing your life in an instant. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the mystery and wonder of the 1999 P nickel, remember that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and even the smallest details like a misplaced letter, an off-center strike, or an unusual weight can transform ordinary change into extraordinary fortune, and that is why stories like these continue to captivate audiences, inspire treasure hunters, and fuel the passion of collectors everywhere who know that history, mistakes, and rarity can turn 5 cents into millions. And the next time you hold a nickel from 1999, take a closer look, because you just might be staring at a fortune hiding in plain sight. Last 2003 P 5-cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the incredible world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where today we unravel the astonishing story behind the 2003 P 5-cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe, because this seemingly ordinary nickel, struck in Philadelphia during the year 2003, has been reported to reach a jaw-dropping valuation of $84 million due to a combination of rare errors, extraordinary mistakes, minting anomalies, and an endless list of possibilities that make it one of the most sought-after and mysterious coins in the history of American currency. And as we move forward, you will discover why a coin that most people would pass in change without a second glance has turned into a legend worth more than any luxury mansion, yacht, or even sports car, and how such a piece has the power to completely alter the lives of those lucky enough to stumble upon it hidden in circulation, forgotten in an old collection, or tucked away in a dusty jar of nickels. Because the truth is that the 2003 P nickel represents not just a physical piece of metal but a true symbol of rarity, human error, history, and unthinkable fortune, all fused together into one small round treasure that might be resting unnoticed in someone's pocket as we speak. So let's dive deep into the layers of reasons that make this coin's value skyrocket to such extremes and explore the universe of errors and mistakes that separate an $84 million masterpiece from an ordinary 5-cent piece of pocket change, because the minting process in the United States, though carefully crafted, has always been prone to occasional lapses where dies break, misalign, double strike, or imprint images incorrectly. And in the case of the 2003 P nickel, multiple categories of errors have been reported, including dramatic double die obverse impressions where Jefferson's portrait appears shadowed or replicated, off center strikes where the design bleeds outside the coin's boundaries leaving blank crescent shapes of bare metal, planchet flaws where the metal disc was improperly prepared resulting in cracks, laminations, or missing sections of material, clipped planchets where a part of the coin looks bitten off due to overlapping punches, and even spectacular instances of overstrikes where one design seems to lie faintly beneath another. And beyond these technical anomalies lies the added mystery of transitional errors, where coins intended for another year's design or composition get struck accidentally during 2003, creating hybrid pieces that should not exist yet somehow slipped out of the mint, fueling the imaginations of collectors who are willing to pay astronomical sums for the opportunity to own such a rare creation. And imagine holding in your hand a nickel where Jefferson's profile is doubled like a ghost image floating across the surface, or one where the Monticello on the reverse appears blurred, twisted, or incompletely struck as if fading into nothingness. These anomalies turn what was meant to be a mass-produced coin into a unique work of accidental art where chance, error, and mechanical imperfection combine to produce beauty and value beyond imagination. And when scarcity is added into the equation, the value begins to soar higher than most people can fathom, because the law of numismatics dictates that the rarer the variety, the higher the demand, and in the case of the 2003 P nickel, certain specimens exist in such minuscule numbers that they practically vanish from availability, leaving collectors in fierce bidding wars whenever one surfaces at auction, pushing the price into tens of millions as wealthy investors, museums, and private treasure hunters fight to possess this shining fragment of American history. And we must also consider the psychological allure of such a coin, because humans are inherently fascinated by mistakes and the idea that imperfection makes something more valuable rather than less, flipping normal logic upside down. And when you attach a monetary value of $84 million to a single coin, the story transcends the boundaries of numismatics and becomes legend, spreading across social media, YouTube channels, news outlets, and collector forums, igniting a frenzy of searches in basements, attics, and coin jars everywhere as people wonder if they might be holding onto a fortune without even knowing it. And as this frenzy grows, the price continues to rise, because each new discovery only fuels the appetite for more. And when a single error coin becomes so valuable, it also turns into a cultural phenomenon where its fame adds to its price, creating a cycle where rarity and notoriety push each other upward until the number reaches $84 million and beyond. And in thinking about the journey of such a coin, we cannot ignore the possibilities of mint mishaps, such as die cracks that split Jefferson's face with jagged lines of raised metal, or repunched mint marks where the P for Philadelphia was struck more than once at different angles, leaving a doubled or tripled letter pressed into the surface, or rotated dies where the reverse and obverse do not align at the standard 180 degrees but instead twist into odd orientations, creating a surreal effect that immediately signals the coin is out of the ordinary. And each one of these errors acts like a fingerprint, ensuring no two error nickels are truly identical, thereby multiplying their desirability, because collectors crave uniqueness. And just as an artist's brushstroke carries authenticity, the unintended quirks of mint machinery give each error coin an identity unlike any other. And when experts evaluate these 2003 P nickels, they often use magnification, precise lighting, and grading standards to assign value, and the highest graded, most dramatic errors with flawless luster and original mint brilliance command the steepest premiums, some auctioning for figures most people only dream of. And when word spread that a few such coins had sold for tens of millions, the legend of the $84 million nickel was born. And as we imagine the future, we must ask how many of these treasures remain hidden, possibly resting in circulation, passed unknowingly from hand to hand buying coffee or groceries, or trapped inside rolls of nickels yet to be opened, waiting to reveal their secret wealth to the world, because history has proven time and again that life-changing finds can emerge from the most unexpected places, and the story of the 2003 P nickel is no exception. So when collectors dream about stumbling upon one, it's not just about the money but also the thrill of discovering something so rare, so valuable, and so legendary that it reshapes the way we think about value, history, and chance itself. And as we wrap this exploration, remember that coins like these remind us how powerful human error can be, how a single flaw can transform a simple 5-cent piece into an $84 million masterpiece, and how the hunt for hidden treasures continues to captivate the imagination of millions worldwide, keeping alive the timeless thrill of discovery and the eternal hope that somewhere, in someone's pocket or collection, lies the next great fortune waiting to be found.